Hi guys, welcome back to another video in this channel. So, new lights. I've been tweaking the studio for a while now, and hopefully now the image should be a little bit sharper and a little bit cleaner. I kind of like the cinematic look that we had before. But I think that's good for like streams and stuff. For this sort of presentation, I think I'm gonna prefer this. Now I'm still having issues with this thing right here. So I'll probably change that to instead of autofocus, I'm gonna do like manual focus because when I do like the hand movements, and you guys know I move my hands a lot, it just freaks out. So yeah, today we're gonna take a look at some hard surfacey things, and I have great news for you guys. I have finished the hard surface for beginners guide, or complete guide to what's the name? Beginner's Guide to Hard Surface Modeling inside of Maya. So this course will be available really soon in all of the platforms that we normally share our courses in. Of course, we're going to have a release video once that's said and done. As I've mentioned before, it's 5 chapters. First chapter is an introduction, and then 4 chapters where we do like very cool looking models. You're going to see the image really soon. And after that, we jump into rendering. We have an extra chapter, chapter 6, where we take a quick look at rendering so that you can present your works in the best possible way. So today, I wanted to share a small technique that we use quite often inside of that course that I think is really helpful, okay? So right here, oh, by the way, this is Krita. For those of you that don't know, Krita is a free software, free like painting software, but you can also do like basic image editing, so really cool. And I was having some issues with Photoshop and ZBrush, so Krita actually works like pretty nice. So let me go to my brushes up here, and let's grab like this one right here. Maybe a little bit of pen pressure wouldn't be bad. Actually, it seems like the pen pressure is not working. Interesting. Do I have anything open? No, that's weird. I'm not sure if it's the pen pressure not working or I really have like a super big brush. Anyway, it really doesn't matter because what I'm about to show you is a very cool technique that you can use to study the shape before you start modeling, okay? There's a saying with people that do woodworking, like carpenters, and it says measure twice, cut once, right? So the important thing here is we sometimes jump really quickly into like modeling the object. We jump into Maya and we kind of try to improvise on the go and get the shapes to work the way we want. Unfortunately, that's not always going to work, and you're going to find yourself like backtracking a lot if you are modeling something and then you see that things are not like flowing nicely. So this is a technique that I was shown way back when I was a student, but it's actually super helpful. And the way this works is quite simple. You're going to be, it's super cold. My hands are hurting a little bit. So you're going to, it's way too much. Nope. Let's just do, can we do like 5 or something? There we go. Now, 2. There we go. Perfect. So what you're going to do is you're going to trace the basic outline of the object, okay? And you're going to draw your topology. So here's the little like quick trick for you guys. When you're doing, the camera's a little bit high, when you're doing hard surface modeling, you need to ask yourself this question. Is the object, or is the part of the object that I'm modeling soft or hard, right? So in this case, this curve right here is soft, which tells me that the edge flow that we have right here should be flowing in a very nice and uniform way like this, okay? So whether I trace this, whether I use a cube or a cylinder or whatever, I need to make sure that my topology flows this way. Now we do have a middle line right here, so I would have like that middle line right here, and this thing would flow right there. So drawing the topology, as you can see here, we have a hard line, so I know that there's going to be an edge loop right there. We just continue that, and all of those lines are going to continue. And you can kind of see how planning this again beforehand, before actually starting to model, can allow you to very quickly understand how the forms of your objects are going to be flowing. And that way, even though this is not a perfect topology, like I still need to fix where certain angles are, like all of this area, I do understand that there's a nice flow going on here. So this is a technique that even as of today, like after 11 years of doing 3D work, I still use whenever I'm modeling or sculpting a character that I really don't know how the shapes are going. I bring the image into Photoshop and I do a quick drawing on top of it just to understand how things are going and make sure that they're flowing nicely. So for instance, like here, like on this cut line, let's grab like a different color. And I know that this cut line right here is going to go all the way over here. So that means that I need an edge loop that follows that specific area, right? So all of this area needs to be followed like this. See that line right there? So that's a soft area. So I know that there's going to be a lot of polygons there holding my nice little like soft edge over there. And then here, since it's a hard area, instead of continuing the element, I'm going to continue the edge loop. This is a very important principle on hard surface, and I want to share this with you guys. Whenever you have a corner, there's two ways to go about the corner in topology. You can have an edge loop like this, where the edge loop is going to flow into the next section, and then you're going to have an intersection, which looks like this. And in this case, the edge loop keeps going straight like this, okay? So what's the difference? Well, when you smooth this guy out, what's going to happen is that guy is going to get you like a nice, soft, smooth element like this. And when you smooth this guy out, you're going to get like a super, super hard line because the edge flow is just flowing completely vertical or horizontal. So here, for instance, let me zoom in a little bit more. There we go. So here, let me delete this layer, create a new one. You can see that on that specific point right there, that's a sharp corner. So this border will be straight like this. But as soon as we start turning the corner, we need to create an edge loop that flows and it follows the curvature of the object right there, okay? So that's very important because whenever you're modeling this sort of things, you're gonna find a lot of round corners. And whenever I see a round corner, I know that my topology has to flow in that direction. So I need to place my squares or model my elements so that everything flows very nicely like this, okay? And whenever I see a sharp corner like, let's say, like right here, like those corners right there, I know that the topology can flow like normally, like a cube, and that's perfectly fine because when I smooth this, I want this to be kept as a normal, like traditional element. So those are, again, two very, very important things that you need to keep into consideration. Another thing that I wanna tell you about in this concept right here, like I didn't model this mouse, I just got from the internet to show you how this complex things can apply to something. But if I'm seeing something like this, I also need to decide where am I going to have more topology and where am I going to have less topology. So all of these buttons right here, they are high topology elements. So that means that they might be or should be slightly higher in the density, like what I'm drawing right here. But this area right here is like super flat and big. So that tells me that I can get away with having like bigger squares just following the general form of the object. Okay, so again, careful here. Like this is a soft edge, so that means that I need to have a soft transition here on my topology. And this is it. Now, this is how the topology is going to be flowing. And again, you can have an object with low density, like a part of the object with low density, and have areas that have a little bit more density, depending on the amount of edge loops that you need. You don't have to have everything like perfectly symmetrical. Usually, however, when you see like high quality renders, you're going to see that everything is very, very close together. But what you can do is you can model this low poly like you're seeing right here, and then when you're done modeling, you just smooth it, and you should get like that nice sharp line going across the element. Other things that you need to point out whenever you're building this kind of things, or preparing any sort of element. Sorry, it's really weird. I'm trying to find like the perfect like camera position so that when I move into the tablet, I don't like lose anything. So yeah, when you're doing this kind of thing, you also need to, or I like to write a list of how many elements are there on this object. Because another very common mistake is people try to model everything as a single object, and that's not usually how it works with hard surface stuff. Because hard surface stuff tends to be quite tricky, and that it's a little bit better if you divide it into different parts. So for instance, this one right here, it will be like one guy for the button, one guy for the wheel. And then, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, so both clicks, 5, this plate, 6, this element, 7, the light, 8, 9, 10, 11, this gray thing, and then probably like 12 for the cable. So it's gonna be at least 12 objects for this hard surface object right here. And it's very important that we understand how we're gonna be building this thing before we jump into building it. This is, again, one of those things that I really value. It only takes, well, we've been doing this for like 10 minutes. It only takes 10 minutes, but preparing beforehand will give you a lot more advantages than just going straight into it, because you at least know what you're gonna be facing. It's kind of like preparing for a boss fight inside of a video game. You know what you're gonna be facing. You know how things are should or will be looking roughly, and that's gonna allow your mind to kind of like start to understand how to properly create the forms inside of a 3D package. So yeah, that's it, guys. A small video today. It's Sunday. It's a little bit late, and I need to go back to my family. So just a quick little guide here, a quick little trick. Again, super helpful. I always use it, and I'll see you back on Wednesday with more news, more information, and of course more 3D. Please keep on dropping all the comments. We've been receiving some very cool feedback about things to do here in the channel. Let it flow. Like, keep on saying anything that you might want me to do or us to do, and we'll be happy to include it into the list. So that's it. Make sure to leave a like, share, subscribe. You know the drill, guys. I'll see you back on Wednesday. Bye bye.